Counting down from 3, 2, 1, and now we're going live.
All right, are we live?
Oh, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mind the Moment, a coffee house in the cloud, a place to build community, feel connected, and get centered. We have arrived here at Friday, April 17th, 2020, which just so happens to be National Haiku Day. And so allow me to begin with the following. The first cold shower. Even the monkey seems to want a little coat of straw. My name is John Roberts from Harvard Pilgrim Health Care's mindfulness program, and I am psyched beyond all comprehension to be minding the moment this morning with none other than Jess Morey, founder of Inward Bound Mindfulness Education, which we know in the biz as iBme. Good morning, Jess Morey.
Good morning, John Roberts.
Do you have any plans for National Haiku Day?
I was going to look at my bird feeder and write a little haiku
Great.
about the squirrel trying to eat it.
That's a great answer. Do you have a favorite haiku already? Maybe it will be that one.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do one together later. We can make your favorite haiku.
Okay.
So in a moment, I will hand it over to Jess to lead us in a 10-minute guided meditation, after which I will get us into a Q&A before wrapping it all up just before 9 a.m. And speaking of questions and answers, you may have noticed at the bottom of your screen an option to open up a chat box. At any point, we want you to type questions, comments, or the haiku of your choice, which we'll get to a little bit later. Jess, is there anything you'd like to ask the people to comment on?
Yeah, if you want to, if you feel inspired to just share one word about how you're doing this morning, so we can kind of a little quick check-in as a group, since we can't see you. Perfect. So if anyone wants to just share how you're doing, kind of get a sense of the room.
As you do that, keep in mind that only Jess and I will be able to see what you type, and if we aren't able to get to your question or comment, please know that we do read and appreciate them all. And before we close, I will point you towards some other ways to get in touch with us and Mind the Moment, and also some other ways to learn about Jess's work. So what do we got here today? Wow, a lot of
Open.
Calm, yeah, grateful, excellent, tired, ready for the weekend, frazzled, under the weather. Sorry to hear about that. Optimistic, just great. Stressed, sad. This is it. This is the range of emotions.
Hopeful. Anxious, calm. The human condition. We're
Yes.
all feeling the human condition. Yeah.
The full catastrophe, as Mr. Kabat-Zinn likes to say. So, Jess, do you want to go ahead and start us into the meditation? And we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So thank you all for checking in. It's just good to get a sense of how you're doing, how we are, have a sense of the community that we're here with. So right now there's 102 of us who will be meditating together. So you can have a sense of that there's sort of like a virtual community of meditators practicing this morning. Okay. So I invite you to get into whatever a comfortable seated posture is for you. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And taking a few deeper breaths to invite your attention and your full awareness to arrive here. So taking those deeper breaths, and as you breathe, checking in with how you're doing this morning. And we can use our breath to bring some balance to our body and mind right from the start. So if you're feeling particularly tired this morning or dull, then you can really emphasize your inhale. Take in an extra long, deep inhale, welcoming in the energy of the breath. And if you're feeling frazzled or anxious, worried in some way, then really emphasize your exhale. Long, slow exhale, softening and releasing. So just take a few breaths like that. offering yourself what you need, even in this opening with our breath. And then allowing your breath just to settle into its natural rhythm right now. And settling into the posture of your body. So allowing your shoulders to soften down. Feel if you can relax the muscles of your face, softening the muscles around your eyes. Letting your weight surrender to gravity. So you can have a feeling of just softening or releasing down. And as you do, feeling the support of the earth underneath us. And I'm going to guide us through a brief 4 elements meditation. This is a way to connect with nature inside and out. And it seems appropriate on this spring day. Hopefully we'll all get outside as much as we can this weekend safely. And so doing this practice to feel the elements of nature in our bodies is a way to notice it's not separate. We're not separate. So as you sit here, the first element we can feel is this quality of solidity of earth. So feeling your body and noticing all the places that your hands are in contact with each other or your legs, the contact of your seat with the chair, the cushion. And as you feel that, noticing just the solidity of your body. Another way that we can feel earth element is hardness or softness. You can just feel through your body places of where it feels soft in contact or where it might feel hard. This is a way sometimes of feeling our body in a new way so that we can just be curious, connect in a different way. And then we'll shift our attention to the second element, which is water. So feeling now in your body can begin by just noticing all the places of that might be moist in your mouth, hands, and also water has the quality of flowing. So you might even feel your heart beating and the pulse in your body somewhere. So just exploring, is there anywhere that you can feel the movement of circulation through your body? So this is water element in our bodies, just like water outside of our bodies. And then shifting to the element of fire. And so feeling in your body all the places of temperature, heat, and coolness. You might start at the top of your head and just flow your attention down, noticing the different temperatures of different parts of your body. And then the final element is air. And one way that we can become aware of the air element is to feel our breath. You can notice the sensations of your breath moving in at the tip of your nose, the lungs expanding in the chest and the belly, the coolness of the air as it comes in, and then the flow of the warmer air moving out with your exhale. And this is a place we can become so vividly aware of this sense of interconnection. So when does this air become me or then not me? This constant interchange with the world around us. So just taking the last minute or two to connect with whichever of these elements felt easiest or maybe pleasant, soothing for you to connect with. And then when you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes if they've been closed. And just with this calm attention, take a few moments just to look around, orient to your space. If you are by a window or a plant, taking in the natural world. And then we can return our attention here to the screen and our amazing host, John Roberts.
Oh, thank you, Jess Morey. Jess Morey, let me begin by pointing out that the focus of your work has been primarily with teenagers. And so in preparation for this conversation, I've been thinking about my own teenage years and what I wish I'd known then, especially related to mindfulness, that I think I know so much better now. I don't know if this will be surprising to you, but I wasn't particularly good about minding the moment when I was a teenager. I was a pretty jumpy little monkey, and I've managed to drag some of that nervousness with me into adulthood, like a letter that I keep trying to mail away, but which I can never quite seem to get the postage right on, and so it just keeps coming back. I've been nervous about these very sessions, imagining all the things that might go wrong with them. Like, as stable as our internet connection here seems to be, the reality is that if a bird sneezes on the telephone wire out front, everything's going to fall apart. Or likewise, I know that you are in what must be the meditatingest house in all of Concord, because both you and your husband are right now leading mindfulness sessions over the web. So who knows if the sheer force of your masked mindful vibes won't cause your Wi-Fi to just pop like a microwave grape. Or we have this cat that lives here who looks a little bit like a Russian bodybuilder. And so whenever he decides he wants to try to get into the room with me, he doesn't just, like meow sweetly, but he actually like cop knocks at the door. So it's like, poof, 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 poof. So I'm constantly afraid that's going to happen. So I'm saying all this to my partner, Annie, at breakfast yesterday. I'm saying to her, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if Jess gets up halfway through the thing? What if the bird sneezes? What if the cat knocks? And Annie looks at me and she says, yes, but what about all the stuff that might go right? And this made me realize I've been hooking into this part of my brain that's, locked into a kind of a either or mindset, mindset that thinks everything is either wrong or right, that there's either threat or comfort, either danger or safety. And that all we can do in any given moment is just sit and fret and worry and wonder about which is going to be this or that. And so I'm trying to get better these days about engaging a different part of my brain. Instead of having an either or mindset, having an either and mindset, having one that says, it's not just this or that, but these, all of these, where there's nice stuff and there's scary stuff. But if you can pull the camera back far enough, you can see that there's so much stuff happening at once that it all starts to kind of look like a flow. Okay, so I used to play a lot of video games when I was a teenager, right? But the one I loved most was Super Mario Brothers, because when it comes right down to it, I'm super basic. And to think about that game, if you remember, looking back at it now, it's pretty technologically unsophisticated. So you can really see the individual pixels that make up Mario's body. He's like made up of all these little blocks, like a Chuck Close painting. On the other hand, you can't see the individual pixels that make up the sky, or that make up the background, because it's all one color. And so it looks smoother. But in reality that it's all made up of the same little blocks. It's all made out of the same stuff. It's just that you get really used to focusing on what's going on in the foreground, because that's where there's movement and danger. But if you only do that, you're liable to miss the fact that it's all been painted with the same brush, and there's a lot more going on the screen than what's directly in front of your eyes. So I wish when I was a teenager, I'd looked more at the entire screen and had a more inclusive view of experience, not just seeing things, one way or the other, but pulling back far enough to see that everything is interwoven. Everything is everything. So Jess Morey, what do you wish you would have known as a teenager that seems clearer to you now, especially in light of your mindfulness practice?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I think it'd be amazing for you to teach a mindfulness of video games session for our teenagers and just kind of teach these lessons. Like you could bring out Mario Kart and like,
well, see, this is the problem though. Mario Kart's already too advanced for me.
So anyway, that would be cool. I think they'd like it. My husband actually plays a lot of video games with the students that he teaches, the high school students. I wish I knew that I was totally lovable and that there was nothing wrong with me. I wish I really had that deep sense of my own goodness and worth, and I couldn't do it wrong. Like, that has been something that's evolved through my practice over these years, through loving kindness practice. And yeah, I was always, and also I wish I knew that I didn't have to try so hard. That, sort of connected, that I'm fundamentally okay, so I don't have to try so hard to be okay, to be accepted. Yeah.
Do you find when you're teaching teens that do you see those same worries in them that
Oh
you
yeah.
had?
Yeah. It's like, that worry in particular for young people, like, am I okay? Am I okay? Am I worthy? Am I loved? Am I lovable? Feels like one of the most fundamental challenges that the young people I work with struggle with. And then when we do our retreats, the week-long meditation retreats for teens, one of the most common things that they share afterwards is like, I felt like I could love myself for the first time in this complete way, or I felt totally accepted. I felt like I belonged. So there's something about, you were talking earlier about fractals or something. There's a way that this practice is about, like, teaching us that, like, everything belongs. So similar to what you're saying, like, it's not bad when I feel totally frazzled in a monkey mind, and good when I feel happy. It's like all of that belongs. And as we start to learn that, like, our own internal experience, every moment of it belongs and is worthy of our attention, then we start to, it's like, oh, maybe I actually, then the aggregate that is me belongs here as well. So
That formulation I love of everything is worthy, because I feel like that's something I didn't used to know, right? I definitely thought that I used to be obsessed with these, like, guides to, like, the best movies of all time, or, like, the best, record albums. I wanted to know, like, which were the best ones and then which were the bad ones, but it's, and only later did I have my eyes open to the fact that there is a lot to be learned from a lot of things, whether or not they are the best or, the worst, as it were.
And that's just like a creation, interpretation, and projection. I mean, discernment is real. We can be discerning, and there can be wisdom coming out of that, and choice. But in some ways, like, our perspectives just teach us about ourselves. They don't teach us about the world. So if we can take that kind of flip.
I wanted to point out, somebody just commented something which I think is interesting. The person says, I've been dealing with talking with my 12-year-old son to build up his self-worth. It's so stressful to watch him, knowing that, she knows that he belongs and is loved, but maybe he doesn't know that so well. But
I mean,
yeah.
I was just going to say that sadly, like, part of this, I also find it interesting to look at our culture and kind of explore what is it about. There does seem to be something about our culture that doesn't train all of us into the sense of, like, deep worth and belonging. The culture is a lot about who's the best, and who, like, and how do we rank according to some kind of external standard. So even if we're, like, loving and parents, our children are going to pick up that from the culture. So it's just, they're just normalizing that that's something that really happens. And then it's also interesting for us to think about, is like, what are the ways, what would it take to shift that culture into one that's more focused on belonging and fundamental worthiness?
Well, and so, I know a lot of families are dealing with kind of a microcosm of culture right now in the homes where they're probably sheltering in place with their children or teenagers, perhaps. And so I want a couple questions. How do parents, so we, you and I believe that mindfulness is going to be good for teenagers. How do parents get their teens interested in that without turning them off to it? Because I feel like if my parents, when I was a teenager, had been like, you should do this, I would be like, you should shut up, and so this is, how do you, get them interested without turning them off? At the same time, is there any mindfulness advice that you have for parents who are currently in lockdown with their teens?
Yep, totally, tons. So this is the most common question we get. as parents calling up and saying, how do I get my teen to go on your program or participate? I even taught a class last night. We had 60 teens. It was so great. We went around and like, we're saying, why are you here? And 2 of the kids were like, oh, my mom signed me up. You can tell. And I was just like, I appreciate that you're going to be that honest and direct. Thank you. But then we're good at getting them engaged once they're there. So the first thing I would say to parents when I hear this, especially in this situation when you're at home with your family, is your own practice. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. And that was true for me. My mom was a meditator, and I saw the difference in her when she would come home from a retreat or when she was like, I watched that she was meditating and I saw what was happening in her. And that's what got me inspired. It was never her being like, you should meditate. But I could see something going on that I was like, something good is happening here, because I can see it in your behavior and your vibe when you're meditating. So that the more that we can do that practice and then show up with as much equanimity and self-compassion and all of those qualities for ourselves, whatever we feel, our total frustration and irritation at our children, like all of it, being really forgiving and compassionate with ourselves, that is what's going to translate to your young person. They're going to see you doing that. And there's going to be something about, and then the more that you can cultivate that for yourself and your own experience, the easier it's going to be for you to show up in that way with your young person, right? So when they start, whatever that, like if you have equanimity for your own experience and acceptance, it's going to be a lot easier for you to have that mode of awareness when your young person acts in a really frustrating way. So that's the primary thing. And then I really recommend a book called Brainstorm if you have a teenager at home. It's by Dan Siegel, Brainstorm. And what's so fun about that book is that it gives you the positive spin on everything that's happening in the teenage brain, and all the things that we find, as a parent, we find really challenging, maybe obnoxious, but it gives you like sort of evolutionary perspective and a positive spin. So just having that positive spin is helpful. So for me, reading that and thinking, when a teenager takes some really risky behavior that you're like, oh my God, what's going on? What is wrong with you? The flip side of that is like, oh, great. They're like willing to be creative and innovative and take risks. And that's like been so beneficial for humanity, generation, So that I recommend that book, and helping yourself kind of flip your perspective a little bit on your teenager's behavior. Yeah.
That's awesome advice. And speaking of the stuff that's not what I wanted to show. Sorry, I wanted to share something else. Maybe this is not going to work very well. Let's find out. Oh, I guess not. Sorry, Jess, I had a slide about iBme up here, but maybe you could just tell folks more about where they can find information about the retreats that you do.
Okay, you know what? So our website is iBme, Inward Bound Mindfulness Education, iBme, and .com. We are a nonprofit, but we've tried for 10 years to buy the .org and have not been able to. So it's .com. And if you go there, you'll see our series of retreats. But as we all know, who knows if we're going to be able to get together in person this summer. We have 10 retreats scheduled for the summer. So we're doing a lot more online programming right now to support our teen community, and also parents and teachers that we work with. So if you go on there, you'll see there's an online a course link where we have daily meditations for teens at 6 p.m., just like this kind of format. One of our teachers teaches for 30 minutes in a little check-in, and so everyone's welcome. And then we have a few courses. I just started a contemplative climate course for youth last night. It's for a month, and next month we'll have one mindfulness and relationships for teens. And then we have 2 online retreats coming up in May. And they're multi-generational. So we'd originally called them parent-teen retreats, and all of our teens said, oh, I don't want to do that. So we were calling it multi-generational. It's for all ages. And the way that our structure works is that we break it up. So you'll be with parents in small groups for significant parts of the time. There'll be workshops that are focused on parents, and then the other ones for teens. So we'll be doing these 2 weekends meditation mindfulness retreats.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. And maybe, okay, so back back to this. So I guess I wanted to wrap us up here, saying that we'll be back every Tuesday and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. You can find links to these sessions and other resources at our main site at harvardpilgrim.org/mindfulness. Meanwhile, do drop us a line at askmtm@harvardpilgrim.org or leave a comment on our Facebook page. Our goal here is not only to practice together, but also to learn from each other. So let us know what's on your mind. What haikus are you grooving on? How are you staying mindful for your teens or alongside your teens? You can also leave us a voicemail at my desk number, just 617-509-7047. Rewatch this session and older sessions on our YouTube page and find guided meditations on our SoundCloud page. So, Jess Morey, it's been wonderful practicing with you this morning. Do you want to do a haiku? Do you want to try to whip one together real fast?
Remind me how it goes.
So it's 575. Maybe I can maybe start.
5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
That's right. So let's see. Maybe scent of hot coffee. Looking at my bird feeder, Jessica Morey. Yeah?
Oh, okay. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just one?
that's 2.
Squirrel. Stretching. Toward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bird feeder.
Mm-hmm.
Out of reach. Alas. Just for the finches.
That's it. Thank you for that. This was wonderful. Jess Morey, iBme.com. We hope to see everyone back here soon. Have a momentous day.